Yes, it's the day we've all been waiting for. KTM India has finally launched an orange onslaught of vehicles for us out here in Delhi for India, ranging from a 50cc competitive motorcycle that's strictly not road legal to the beast of a machine that is the 1390 Super Duke R. Now let's look through all the KTM motorcycles that they have launched out here today, and the range is expansive. Alright, so we have finally come to the KTM 1390 Super Duke R. Now just look at this thing. Man, it looks manic, looks radical, looks sharp, aggressive, all that thing. Well, it just looks insane. And yes, it is coming. It has launched in India rather, and we're really excited and we can't wait to get our hands on it. Well, this motorcycle, this KTM 3090 Super Duke R, is exactly what you'd want if you wanted a liter class power street bike ready to rip the roads, rip everything on the road to shreds. This motorcycle is what it's all about. Now, this bike is powered by KTM's most powerful engine to date. This is the 1350cc, well, parallel twin. It makes a good 190 PS of max power. It revs to good 10,000 RPM, 145 Nm of max torque. And yes, it weighs just around 200 kgs. So, yep, pretty much just slightly lighter than something like the Royal Enfield Himalayan. So crazy in terms of power to weight, and yeah, really aggressive. It's all about that with this particular motorcycle. It doesn't get the semi-active suspension that the 1290 Super Adventure S gets, but you do have rather chunky WP Apex suspension up front. Good Michelin power GP tires, which shouldn't really be ideal for the road. If you look at the tread pattern and everything, they're pretty much almost slicks. So yeah, that's a really crazy motorcycle. 48 mm chunky fork up front, fully adjustable. That is the small TFT screen that you have up front as well. We can't really put it on, we don't have the key, we don't have access to it. If you check out the switchgear, well, that's pretty funky as well. Cruise control, it gets a 6-axis IMU, so it gets the whole shebang as far as electronic suite is concerned. So you have cornering ABS, cornering traction control, ride modes, everything that you pretty much want on your street bike. And of course, yeah, you get the nice knob for your preload to set your suspension out back as you see fit. Yeah, seat height is at a decent 834 mm, and man, this thing is all about power to weight. It looks so aggressive. It just looks like it's waiting to rip everything on the road to shreds, and in terms on paper at least, it looks like it actually has that possibility, and we're finally getting to see this beast of a machine out here in India, and that's the really, well, kick-ass part about it all. So yep, that's what the rear of the motorcycle looks like. Very neat, simplistic, tidy. Yeah, looks very lightweight, and that's what it actually is. Power to weight, once again, is really phenomenal on this particular motorcycle. That's the single-sided swing arm out here. The Michelin, the Power GP tires don't look really ideal for road, more like for track use, but that's what KTM say is what you get with this motorcycle, and you can extract the best performance out of this bike with these particular tires. Now the seat looks little thin and narrow, but the cushioning doesn't seem to be all that bad. Pillion, well, I wouldn't have a pillion sitting on this motorcycle if I were riding it, just for the aspect of safety. But if you're riding it leisurely or taking somebody on a leisurely ride, okay, fair enough. Now you do have a USB port out here. That's a C-type port as well. So yeah, in terms of practicality, well, that's as practical as it gets, this motorcycle. And yeah. Oh yeah, in terms of brakes as well, this one gets the top spec Brembo Stylema calipers, and yeah, that's a monoblock 4-piston caliber up front, radially mounted, of course, and you have a 2-piston fixed caliper brake at the back that should be around 240 mm, I'm guessing, should be around that. And yeah, that's pretty much as far as the specs go for this particular bike. Liquid cooled engine. Really cool. And of course, this one is going to cost you a pretty penny, just like the Super Adventure the 1290 Super Adventure S. Now let me just look at the pricing of this motorcycle, get a refresh. Yep, this is the most expensive motorcycle that has launched out here today. This will set you back by a cool 22 lakh 96,000 rupees ex showroom. So yep, it is going to be on the pricier side, as you would expect coming to India as a CBU. But yes, if you fancy yourself, if you're a power hungry person who just wants to hoon around on the street, show brute strength and just rip everything else to shreds out on the road, well, this is the motorcycle that you should be ideally looking to get your hands on. We can't wait to get our hands on it. Do let us know what you think of all these motorcycles that KTM has launched out in the comments below. Alright, so if you ever fancied yourself a high capacity off-road or adventure focused motorcycle from KTM, well, now you have that option because this is the KTM 1290 Adventure S. Now this motorcycle is well, the main thing about this motorcycle is it is primarily road focused, as you can probably make out by looking at the alloy wheels and those Mitas Terraforce R tires. Highlight of this bike has to be the semi-active suspension and the electronic suite that this motorcycle comes with. So you get the whole shebang as far as electronics goes, cornering ABS, cornering traction control, the whole works. And what's interesting is if you look at the buttons, so this is really interesting. We've never seen switchgear like that on any KTM motorcycle currently out here in India, so that's really cool. And of course the engine. Now this is a 1300cc twin cylinder motor, makes around 160 PS of max power, 138 Nm of max torque, and it has a slip and assist clutch as well. Now 6-speed gearbox, very nice looking motorcycle from all angles, but it is slightly on the bulkier side of things, I must admit. Yep, that is a nice broad section tire at the rear as well. Now this bike, well, it weighs a good 220 kgs, and as far as suspension goes, well, you have yeah, as I mentioned before, the WP semi-active suspension at both ends. In terms of electronics, you get cruise control and the whole shebang. And of course this one has adaptive cruise control, as you can probably see by the radar out here in front. The face, big, broad, but very KTM-ish. Very similar to what we've seen in the current crop of KTMs out here. And in terms of well, seat height, well, yep, this one has 869 mm. It is quite tall, but yeah, getting on the motorcycle shouldn't be all that bad. Yeah, it feels really comfortable, but yes, it does feel a little broad around the tank area. The tank does feel so, but yeah, very nice and complete. But of course this motorcycle is coming to India via the CBU route, so it's not going to be cheap once again like the others out here. This motorcycle is, yep, it is not, however, the most expensive motorcycle that KTM have launched out here today. This will set you back by a cool 22,74,000 rupees ex showroom, so that's a bit on the steeper side, but yeah, it should give its company, give its rivals a run for their money. Something like the Multi-Stardust and the Tiger 1200 GTs and stuff like that. So yep, this is very interesting, but we're really happy that KTM have finally come out with the big motorcycles out here in India. It is what we all have been craving for, and the day has finally arrived. Now, whether you can afford these motorcycles, that's another concept, or that's another topic of discussion altogether. But yes, a very nice, interesting motorcycle is out here today. And oh yeah, you have a nice storage compartment here for some stuff. Oh yeah, and also I should mention that you might have seen the new screen, the 8.8-inch TFT screen at EICMA. Well, this is pretty much the oldest screen that KTM have told us will come standard with this motorcycle as of now. When the motorcycles are updated abroad, well, we will have the screen as a probable update for the later models out here in India. But as of now, this is what the KTM, well, the Super Adventure 1290 has, the 1290S has to offer. So that's very interesting, and we can't wait to get our hands on it and go on a nice long tour on this motorcycle, because that primarily is what this motorcycle is set out to do. Now, it also gets the adjustable windscreen up front, so that should be really easy to manage out on the go. Just have to twist this knob. It's on both sides, so you can figure it out with your hands and which one you want to really go about it, but quite easily manageable with one hand as well. So Yep, in terms of electronics, now we can't really show you what the motorcycle sounds like because we don't have the key. We're not allowed to show it to you right now because there are just a lot of people out here today waiting to get their hands on this or waiting to tell you about what this motorcycle is all about. So we'll save that for a later date. But as of now, this is 1290 Super Adventure S.